Whoa, whoa, whoa. What happened there, guys? To the close. What happened today? We're going to talk all about the CPI data. We're going to get in today's show. We'll talk about why coal is just booming, and I'll explain what I think the catalyst is really driving the factors. It was given last week. We saw a little bit of a struggle, but if you guys know it, definitely throw it up in the chat. And I'll also say why I sold out of my bank trade and where. Find on out right here on Money Mitch. Hit the like. Let's get it going.
It's time for Money Making Mitch. When investors need a story, we're going to the moon. Welcome to Money Mitch, where story is everything. I'm here to find you the next opportunity. It's all about the green hands. Now we all know the bull market is here to stay. Money Mitch.
What's going on, traders? I hope you guys are doing well today. We're going to go ahead and check up on the market. But like always, let's go ahead. Let's dive on in and see what we got in this market today. CPI data coming on out. President Biden right now speaking. So just to give you guys some insight, we'll definitely watch the SPY to see if we can come back. We have come back essentially from that 330. We had a really hard down point there. And today, CPI data, right? It came on out here. Consumer price in March surged 8.5% from a year ago, higher than expected. The highest levels since 1981, guys. I mean, these are not lower levels here. These are definitely levels that are way beyond where the Fed expected inflation to go to. And this is why a lot of people have said that the Fed is behind the ball. And you're hearing what a lot of these Feds, like these dovish even Feds like Brainerd, making comments about how essentially we need to tackle inflation, because if we don't, it's going to get over our head and keep going. Hyperinflation could be coming. So we got to be careful here, guys. We need to go ahead and make sure that we take care of inflation. So if there's anything that I'm looking at, is I definitely think a 0.5 raise is almost it's almost a given now. I'm kind of even wondering, could you potentially get a 0.75% raise? I think that's starting to be on the table here, especially when you're seeing these inflation numbers get to where they're at. And we're going to continue to see what happened. But let's go ahead. Let's take a look here at the market. What's going on in the SPY and where did we turn around? Today, I talked about it in pre-market that I was watching these levels, because every time we come down on the SPY, if you measure the bounce back, you're going to see what around here? You're going to see around 1.8, 1.6% there on the close there. On that bounce back, right? Then you get this kind of bottoming action. Where does it go to? Essentially 1.6, a second bounce. Now we're getting this third bounce, and you take a look to where we got to. It was right about what? 1.6, 1.55. You got 1.6, 1.55, 16. There you go. The bounces are being very measured in this move. And I think that's very important, because what is that showing us is that these rallies are probably rallies to sell into, as we're seeing, of course, measured moves right back down. And I talked about it on, of course, a little bit back, how I've been measuring the SPY, and I did see in 2008 we made kind of like an 11% rally, and then ended up going back down. It was a 13%, and then ended up going back down 14%. Now we're doing a 10. We're making our way slowly ticking on back down. We just broke through the 50%. Now that we're down here, we're down towards about 5.3% from those highs. We're going to see if we get towards the 431s. That's the next level I'd give as support. And today we need to see a recovery of that 440.64 if we're going to get back in the SPY. Let's take a look at here at the Qs. What happened in the Qs? Hard downside action, and it just looks really bad here. Now it looks like it wants to break this 337, get right back to the 330s, and test back down towards the lows. We'll see if this can continue leaking. Weak stocks today. NVIDIA, I saw that one turn around. It gave you a second where it wanted to come back, looked like it wanted to fill the gap, and ending back down towards the low on the dailies. Big level here in NVIDIA coming into play now. We're going to see if this 212.96 is going to be able to hold, or is it going to break through the 200? And if it breaks the 200, you got to start watching monthly supports To me, monthly support is actually closer towards this 207. So we're going to be watching to see if you break that 200. You break 200, you could easily be back down towards 150 in NVIDIA. All right, we'll see what happens. AMD is doing that same kind of leakage. It's almost to the levels that I want to go ahead and maybe start dipping my toes, which is going to be 90. But remember, this is leaking, and you're seeing a lot of this tech kind of give back the gains right now. All right, let's go ahead and see what was strong today and what was not. Utilities having a good day today, pushing back on up. If you take a look, the daily chart started to go a little bit sideways here, but we got another strong day today. Let's take a look at Duke. Duke's been a leader. We're going to watch for it to continue through the highs here through 115.50s. As you can see, Duke has been a really strong stock as of late. We've been watching this stock since it got out of this sideways consolidation. And you could tell here, we've been watching it essentially updated on March 30th. So now that was right around here, we started really watching it as it broke out of the consolidation. And you can tell from that point, we've been really strong in Duke. We're going to continue to watch some of these, like one that I like, XL. XL Energy. I talked about this one. Look at this. We drew this on the 28th. That was right around here. Now look where we're going. We're already up on this one about 7%. We're going to continue to watch to see if these utility names can continue rising. One thing I will say is that I do continue to see utilities rising, because as much as everyone's talking about how the interest rates can affect these utilities, to actually bring them back down, I think that's only capping the explosion here, because what are you also seeing is a rise in prices, and they can rise the price to meet the inflation need that's out there. We'll see what happens with these. And for God's sake, God bless our utility bills, please. Please, God bless our utility bills. I just wouldn't wish to be in Europe in a cold environment, because it's gonna get pretty ugly there. All right, let's go ahead. Let's keep going in here. Let's see what other charts are doing well. Energy with a strong day also. Let's go ahead. Let's look at some of the leaders. Of course, XOM. We talked about this pattern here. We got up there to yesterday. We pulled back. Now we're looking to push. We want to see the low here hold now. The low from 85.17 that was on Friday. We're going to look for it to be taken out through the 87 as it tries to push towards 90. Keep this one in play. I do think this one still is setting on up. Let's take a look at MRO today. We missed an order to a buy right out the gates. We were trying to get it literally right out the gates. I started seeing this consolidation. I started seeing this little pop. I was looking to get it in at 25.90s. It didn't give me the pullback. Once it broke 26, it pulled back right here just for a second there towards 26.04 and then broke on out. I wasn't able to get the entry, so I ended up just watching it make this nice big run up there towards 26.80s. That could have been a good profit there. MRO today on live trading. We're going to continue to watch. Now, one thing I did see mentioned by Biden on his live speeches, it's probably still on. I was watching it before I got on here. One thing that he did speak about how they released those reserves and how more was released by kind of other countries. So just keep your eyes on it. I mean, you could see a little bit of a pullback in after hours, but I think you're still seeing that strength in oil. And overall, we're going to see that kind of last little boost. I think you got one more hurrah that you're going to see in this inflationary type of trade. So we'll see what happens here. MRO. And for that case, you can take a look at some other players also, like Oxy. Oxy's been one that I wanted to watch. You saw it strong today, and then all of a sudden it just leaked. We'll see if it gets strong tomorrow. Take a look at this daily chart. It's holding the 90 MA, just like the one that we're going to talk about in a little bit, BTU. But you can see here, now we're going to call this the green zone. We want to see this get back into this green zone. If it can get back into that zone above 60, we're going to be looking for that nice breakout tomorrow. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the hourly. You can see here, if you can get through that trend line up here, draw a trend from that, get that back up there into the 60s, into the 60-50, we could see a good rise in Oxy. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get out of oil. Let's go to the top play of the day, which was BTU. I hope that somebody out there was able to nail this one. We actually did a swing trade on this one, and it was a killer swing trade. I actually don't call that one a swing trade because that's a day trade, because when they're really good, you take what's there, and not a bad day in BTU. Could still be holding this trade, but hey, I'm going to take a good trade when we can get it, guys. One of the things that we talked about here was the 9 EMA on BTU and how it's been holding every time. If you look back at it, every time you crack it, you recover. You crack it, you recover. From here, you crack it, you recovered. You cracked it, you recovered. Every time we're cracking that 9 EMA, we're actually recovering that. And so today, yesterday, I talked about this, that we were pulling back right towards that 9 EMA, and we we're going to look for that 9 EMA to hold there. The 9 EMA was sitting at 25.65, and we were looking for that to kind of continue kind of curling here. And then you can see here, it just curled through it. And today you got that opportunity. Nice opportunity on the hourly, looking for that extension back above 27. And we rode this a hell of a trade here, guys. We got this at 26.80s, and we rode it up there. First, it went up through the 28s, kind of pulled back, through the 27s, kind of pulled back. Stopped me out on a day trade. Ended up getting some swing trade sizing in here, and then got in at the right before the 27 break, and then rode it on up there towards the 29, selling out at the 29s. And that was not a bad move there on BTU. Great trade, and you got to take what you can get sometimes, and we're going to continue to watch. So one thing that you can do is wait for the next time that it's by that 9 EMA to see if it can hold it and get back to the resistance. Not a bad trade there. We'll give you guys another swing trade I have on in coal that I did not take off today, which was at SXC. I did call this one out way before we took this trade. If you take a look at this line, I updated it to on the 7th, but it was created on the 5th of April. That's when we've been watching this one. If you take a look here, when was the 5th of April? It was right here on this candle. It wasn't like it was a strong candle. Why was I watching this? Because I'm watching the industry overall. It's not just SXC, it's coal overall here. And so now that you got this pullback, I love that breakout through 9 today. I took 907s, looking for a nice push through that 930s, and we're going to look for a lift through 950s, which will be a really nice gain. I mean, if we got this from around the 907s towards that 950s, that's going to be a 5% gain. We're going to look for a push through the high, which is a 7% gain, and looking for that nice push towards 10%. We're looking for that lift tomorrow above that 950 to continue holding some of the size, take some of it off, and let the rest of it just run. We'll see what happens in this one. Other coal players that you can be taking a look at. Look at all the coal players today. What do you see here? Nothing but green, guys. So METC is one I've given before. CEIX is one I've given before. Great day for that one. ARCH, really nice looking chart today. Nice little push out through this one. Keep your eyes on that one. Really like that pullback that it held today. 145.95s or 146. You can take a look at ARCC. This one's been a little bit of a dog. Maybe you leave that one out. HNRG looking strong there. ARLP, talked about this one since back all the way over here in February 14th. This one's been a strong one for a while. NC's just been taking off here, guys. Look at this NC here. Most people aren't paying attention to this, but look at this coal player. This coal player since the 21st has made just a 47% increase. So we'll keep a watch on it. HCC is another one that's kind of lagging. Look for this one to catch some bid and really get through the 39 tomorrow. But that's why I like to do the industry plays, because you can see there, if I played anything in coal today, anything, I'm up and I'm making money, baby. That's why it's important to know the rotation and to catch it before it makes that next move. All right, catching up with the chat. What's going on out there? What's up? What's up? Smash that like button. Lord, what's going on out there? Mitch, did you hear what she said? She's no dove, bro. Yeah, the truth is she's been a little bit hawkish for a while, but the truth is in the long term, she is a dove. And what does that show you? That she's really concerned about inflation. And she's not the only one. I'll join on here. They need to do something about this inflation, because if they don't, we're going to get in a world of hurting. So they need to take care of it. If it's just hiking interest rates, well, I'm sorry for the market, because it's going to take it some pain, but we'll see what happens. All right, what's going on, Morton? Where's the diamond hands? My diamond hands are detrimental at these times. What's going on out there, man? We'll see what happens out there. I'll change up the colors so at least we don't feel too bad here. Let's go back to blue here. Let's go ahead. Easy. What's going on out there? How we doing? Crypto Burger Shiba. Shiba is the latest cryptocurrency coin. Is it on Robinhood now? I did hear something like that. We'll see what happens. XLF tanking with ER this week. Yeah. I mean, I cut my bank trades today. Let's talk about that, cutting the bank trades. We took a shot, and sometimes the shot isn't going to work out. We set ourselves up. We got in this one at 133.17. I gave myself the shot towards 132.60s, and then I ended up just stopping out right at that line. I'm glad I stopped out at that line because it would have ended up going down towards 131. And you have to have your outs, guys. We're not always going to win on these trades. JPM was setting on up. Also, BAC was setting on up. It was in this symmetrical triangle. It started looking good. It started pushing back on up, and boom. It rejects to get into that 39.80 area right here. And this is where it really started looking good. And then from that point, it just rejected back down through the 39.60s. I had a stop placed at 39.55 and got stopped out right there, giving myself a shot. It looked like it was going to go, but then it just came down and it saved me getting out because this went tumbling down all the way towards 38.90s. And I'm glad I got out of that bank trade. And that's how it's going to happen sometimes. You're going to need to get out. And that's one thing that I will definitely say. Like always, guys, this is not investment advice. This is educational. And one of the things that I want to teach you guys is that if you know your risk and you know your plan, you can take pretty much any trade. But what happens is most traders cannot stick to that risk. When it comes to the moment, when it comes to them to cut it, what do? Oh, no, but maybe just a little bit. No, but yeah, this can maybe move a little bit more. No. We tried the bank swing. We had the setup. We were looking for the earnings reports to come out tomorrow, give us that lift right before, and we just didn't get it. And sometimes you're going to have to be able to see your way out of it and let it go. All right, what's going on out there? Lul, can you check AMD, please? Yes, I'll go ahead and I'll touch a little bit of that. Balos wants me to touch Spotify. I have no problem. Or she has a lot of puts. Well, she has been saying it since January, so maybe she knows something that we don't know. You took it to the bank and they took it back. Hey, that's how it is sometimes. Hey, and trust me, the bank takes what they can get. Right now, great trade on BTU. Hey, appreciate the love, man. That's what it's all about. You got robbed, and it happens. Yeah, so, we all know what those overdraft fees used to do to us. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look here at some other trades. I'll go ahead and I'll take a look at what you guys wanted to take a look at. AMD. Oh, you wanted to take a look at Shopify, not Spotify? I got you. Two different stocks. No worries. I'll make sure that I cover the right one there. Let's take a look at AMD. Like I told you guys, long-term for me, I'm just looking at monthlies. For me, I'm looking at this resistance around the 89 level, 90 level is where I'm going to be looking to go ahead and start dipping my toes long-term in AMD. But we got to remember, what's the next levels from there? The next levels from there is going to be down towards 73s and below that. So I'm going to go ahead with a really small starter in probably around that 90, but I'm not going to go crazy. I'm going to be looking to average down towards that 73 and looking to put more of my sizing towards that 73. But right now, it doesn't look good for AMD. A lot of that was the rejection of that 105 level, and then we headed straight cut through that 100 level. Look how this morning in the pre-market, you get to a high there of 102. It just cracked the 100. Couldn't even crack it in the opening. It went up towards 99.75, and then boom, it was already back down. So this is in a downtrend, and I think you got to wait till you see at least past 100 again to see that real upside momentum push for AMD. All right, shop. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at Shopify here. Shopify coming down there towards the 593s. And, they did the split, and you saw that little bounce. I think that was a chance to get on out. And I got to talk to Spencer because he took this trade. And he got a gift there, 7%. Now it's actually in the red from there. And I got to see if he was able to hold on or not. But hopefully he took the profit there. And you got to be careful because a lot of these falling knives can just keep falling. And you never know when this is going to stop. This could easily come back down there to, let's say, 300s. And next thing you know, you're into a bag. So know where the hurt is too much and what's your out. For me, I would be watching kind of, you don't even have to look at this 534. I'd be watching closer towards this wick here. And so the low here is 585.03s. If that breaks, watch out because you could be heading towards 520. All right, let's go ahead. Let's take a look. PLG, Platinum Group. Platinum Group is sideways here. You can see here from my trend line. I've been drawing this trend line. Nothing's moved. Nothing's happened. But do we got to keep this one in watch? Yes, we got to keep it in watch. So we can go ahead up and set an alert here. I'll set an alert at 230s. It needs to get a good push there, not a 10-cent push. I want to see like a nice 20-cent push and really start motoring on Platinum Group metals. All right, what other stocks are being thrown in the chat? If you guys got one to take a look at, throw it on up. We only got a couple minutes left, and I want to go ahead and hit your stock. Let's go. NIO being mentioned by Morton. NIO is one that I'm looking for actually shorts. I could actually be looking for levels here. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look here. So you're seeing this kind of bearish pattern here. You see a bounce. You see a bounce. I'm looking for one more bounce near that 20 to maybe get short off of that and then use kind of the last high resistance here, this consolidation that you saw up here around the 225s as the risk. So I'd be looking to get short somewhere over here and risking towards that 2025 to get it right back down towards that 18. Reason why I'm kind of short on these names is because of what I hear about what's going on in China, right? Their lockups, everybody's inside, and they had really bad sales in China throughout March's month. And so what I'm going to watch now is what continued trend. If they can't go outside, how are they going to buy these vehicles? They're not going to buy vehicles. They're just going to stay home and hold that money inside. And so what's going to happen? You're going to see another bad number probably given by the deliveries. And so I'd be paying attention to NIO, LI, XPEV, looking for shorts on all of them, maybe diversifying that, but that's the way I would attack it. Like always, make your own investment decision, guys. Let's take a look there at XPEV. XPEV down there today, looking already bearish a little bit. But let's look at LI. LI is probably the one that I would look to see it really flush through 25 tomorrow and try to take out 24. We'll see if it can come back into the shadow zone and just come back and just break down here through the 20s. This is actually one to keep it on watch. Let's actually set a kind of support there right around the 24.64 level. And we're going to set an alert there. If it breaks that, I'm going to watch it to potentially short it on live trading. All right, I read that they started relaxing lockdowns. Yes, there's this. It's a little bit of mix. We'll see what happens. If they really pull it back, then I'll go ahead and I'll pull it back myself. You got to be flexible, right? If they say the lockdowns start slowing down, then you pull it back. But for right now, it's looking like it's heading down. All right, let's keep going here. What other stocks being mentioned? Daniel bringing INTC. This one looks like it's also just weak right now. Looked like it tried to get back above 50, and until it does that, I think it's also weak right now. Let's go ahead. Let's look at some other ones. GGPI. GGPI, we actually played this for one play here and made money on it, but it doesn't look like it's trying to hold. But one thing that you are looking at is the 9 EMA just curving underneath. So for me, I'd start paying attention to that. I'd be looking for a push back up through the 1220s until it gets to like 1225. I wouldn't be excited on this name, but it is going sideways here after the news. So you could get some lift, but I think it needs another catalyst. I think it needs some juice. Doesn't have the volume that it had when it popped, of course. And you can see here on average in an hour, you're only trading about 500,000 or 300,000 shares. You need to be seeing in the millions to see it really start ripping. All right, SHIB is pumping again. We'll take a look at the SHIB. Like always, guys, we do have a cryptocurrency show. And one thing I will tell you guys is if you guys Benzinga Pro, we have those cryptocurrency guys, putting up some trade ideas in our trade ideas widget. I put up trade ideas in that trade ideas widget on Pro every single morning. Today's was BTU and XXC. Another one that I've been giving for a little while is TSN Tyson Foods, and this one's starting to move. It's going slowly, but it is getting on up there. It's gone about 4% since we talked about it. We're gonna look for some pullbacks towards, let's say, 92, but look for that continuation through 94. I do like this name. APPH was coming back today. We're gonna look for this one to kind of push. It still hasn't really gotten up there towards the 5. That's where I really want to take a look at if App Harvest is going to make another move back up there towards the 650s and the 7. That'll be a nice lift too if it gets to that 5 going towards 7. All right, DE, last one probably for the day. DE looking for a long swing there, says Covey Miller. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look here. What do I see? I look at the monthlies and I tell you to just stick to that, because the monthlies give you that nice flag pattern here and a nice pattern for it to come back up through 100. You hold on the support here. I would look at the monthly support being closer towards this 86.95, or maybe you're just rounding that up to the 87 mark. But really, at the end of the day, you're going to look for a breakout through that 100 level, because that 100 is going to be so important. You've gotten there before multiple times. Now let's see if you can start curving off of that 86.95 and getting through that $100 price point, which you will find some resistance, right? I think you're going to find some resistance there. But if you can get through that 100 and then finally clear through these highs around the 115 area, yeah, you have some good lift that you can get on. And I think you just can go up there towards maybe 150s. I'm paying attention to General Electric. I actually like this trade, and I don't think it's a bad one that you're looking at. But just remember, always know you're out and make sure that you're sticking to it. All right, last one is PG being brought up here. Procter & Gamble has been a strong stock as of late. Let's take a look at the daily. Daily looks like it's topping out, but where could it go to? It could pull back here and just kind of hold some pullback towards 158.69s here. You can see here how you kind of got up there. You went sideways. You actually held that low here, but today you broke that low a little bit, recovered it. So look for that 158.69 area to hold tomorrow. If you're bullish this, if it cracks that, it could come back down to 157 and just kind of collect that 9 EMA and keep pushing. But if you're more of a day trader, just make sure that you know that level just in case it breaks yesterday's low and you're just cracking through. All right, let's go ahead. We'll see what happens out there. Kobe, I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see what happens on GE. I do like it on the monthly, and just kind of, especially on a kind of longer swing type of trade there, you want to kind of, especially for a GE that doesn't have that big movement, doesn't have that unreasonable amount of movement, use those further time frames to go ahead and get around kind of those monthlies. And even if you wanted to, you could even look at, let's say for GE, you could even look at what's called a quarterly chart, which is even further back, and look how this looks pretty. It looks pretty there. That's what matters. You want to see it get back up there through the 92s. And if it gets through the 92s, this will start turning green, and you got that nice hammer looking at that bottom, and you're going to look for that push through the 100 level. All right, that's going to do it for me, guys. That's going to do it today on Money Mitch. We talked about today BTU, the coal stocks, why they keep moving. Is a lot of what I think is driving the factors is, of course, the banning of coal, oil in the EU. That makes a huge drive difference, guys. Of course, what depends on Russia more and more? It's not necessarily us, it's the Europeans. So pay attention how the Europeans are reacting to the oil, not so much how the US is reacting towards oil, because we're going to find ways to bring our prices down. But I'll tell you what, Europe is in for it, and I'm going to be paying attention towards that. That's why I've been watching the oil names. That's why coal, I think, is ripping through the moon right now, and we're going to continue to watch to see if BTU can make that run. I hope someone caught that call out yesterday, 25 to 29. I talked about how there's a continuous pattern off that 9 EMA. Great trade if you're able to capture it. We got some of it on live trading. I just hope somebody was able to capture the whole thing there. Nice move today on BTU. We'll keep watching. I'm in SXC. We'll see what happens. And today, like always, guys, transparent We lost on the banks. We're not always going to be in the green in every trade, every swing trade. One thing that I do like about that swing trade, though, is that it limits the loss. When I lost on this, it's a baby loss compared to, let's say, doing some day trading action. And so that's the important part. Find what works for you. And the swing trades are my bread and butter. That's where I get the biggest returns. And of course, keep those risks at the minimum. We'll see what happens. Morton, Tiny, Kobe, Daniel, Lord. Hope you guys have a great day and take it easy out there. Be safe and keep working on those skills one day at a time. If it's okay, I want to really work on my level 2 action today. Maybe it's not even trading. Maybe it's just focusing on the level 2. What is the action I see, and does it match the way that I trade? I'll see you next time right here on Money Mitch. Until then, guys, catch me tomorrow at the boot camp. I'm going to be at the boot camp right here, and we're going to be doing some live trading. Then right after that, you're going to be getting some great education. So if you want to learn a little bit more about trading, you can only see it when it's live. That's another tip that most people forget, and they always ask me, oh, can I get the video after? You can't, man. You got to catch it live. So be there tomorrow. I'll see you guys at the boot camp. That starts at 9 a.m. We'll be doing some live trading and then be getting into some learning. I'll see you guys there. Hit the like, and I'll see you guys next time.